Final Fantasy XIII is the latest Final Fantasy to come out for any other console, and it's the first one to reach the new next-gen consoles coming out on the PS3, Xbox 360, and maybe the PC, I'm not sure. I've never properly played a Final Fantasy game, and lots of people think that's quite stupid of me, but it's never really appealed to me. Well, the much hassle that was coming out for 30, and I thought I must have a go at this. And to be honest, yeah, it's impressive, and I can see why people love it, but it didn't totally amaze me. The only other Final Fantasy game I've ever played was Final Fantasy V for the Game Boy Advance, and maybe a few 10 minutes at my mate's house. So I can't base it on the other games, and if you want to see it based on other games, you should turn this review off right now, because I'm not going to be speaking really about any of the other games. I can't compare the graphics to the GBA or anything. Talking about the graphics, the game does look really, really nice, which is great for a next-gen game, because some of them is a bit hit and miss. The combat style, yeah, it's Final Fantasy combat style, I understand that, but it's not my kind of combat style. It really isn't. Final Fantasy V, I thought it was just because it was on the Game Boy, and then I started playing snippets of my mates and stuff, and I realised that this is how the combat goes. It's kind of one of those, the combat is the style of how you would say a free cartoon RPG on the computer for little children. I've used the same battle system on Dragon Fable. That's what disappointed me. You can do cool things like that, but then it just goes into a battle. The nice thing is if you're in a hurry, you can go on autopilot, but this kind of is a hit and miss thing as well. The game also doesn't feel like a proper RPG. It feels like it's just guiding you through the story. In an RPG, like, okay, this is a bit silly, but something like Pokemon or even the Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers, I had more option of what I wanted to do instead of people telling me what to do in the game guiding. The RPG factor really does not live up to games like Mass Effect 2 and all the other great RPGs that are out there. Having said this, this really would appeal to Final Fantasy fans. The combat is, as I said, classic Final Fantasy, and you would love that. And there is, as you can see, a ranking system, so you do rank up, which is very nice. The game is average length with 13 chapters. Don't really know how long they'll take you to do, but not stupidly long. There's a lot of bosses along the way, which is great to add the difficulty in. But again, it just feels like the game just guides you what to do, and you can just breeze through it. My mate says he's stuck on it, or everyone else says they completed it. So yeah, it's a pretty easy game. I'm not sure about the online. There's probably new maps or multiplayer or something kind of coming out. I have no footage of that, and this footage I'm showing you now is Japanese. There's quite a big variety of enemies though, but I do seem to be running into the same stupid robot man quite a lot. So the enemies do seem to repeat themselves. But this is just one level of gameplay. As you can see, there's a lot of detail in these dogs, which is really nice. As I said, the presentation is really good. I just like the gameplay to be up there with it. The sound in the game is mostly impressive. It's a lot of this game is hit and miss, especially and the sound as well. That's why I really wouldn't purchase this game if I were me, because I don't like the combat, and it's just the game. Oh, it's hit and miss. If you're a true Final Fantasy fan, you should really pick this up. But I don't really see why you should spend 30 quid on a game if you've never played Final Fantasy before and you don't want something that's gonna do this. Although a lot of people have been giving this a 10 out of 10, I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10 because I don't completely like this. This game isn't to my taste, and so for that I'm gonna give Final Fantasy 13 a 7 out of 10.